Welcome back to the 2013 North American LCS Summer Promotion Tournament. And our first series between Dignitas and Team Summon is all tied up at 1 game apiece. But before we jump into Game 3, I'd like to welcome back Curse's Voyboy to the desk. Voy, welcome back. So far, these matches have kind of been an all-out battle of the mid lane. So what do you think about Captain Korea's last Karthus play?
Captain Korea has been playing phenomenally on Karthus. Even in the first game where they lost, he was definitely the backbone of their team. Like, he was out-farming everyone. He was making plays with his ultimate, and he was like landing like every Q in team fights. And in the second game, he just like outright carried. Like, he was doing really well mid. He killed Scar multiple times 1v1, and the setup from his team to give him like tons of kills with that ultimate early game just allowed him to like start the game off 5-0. And if you have a 5-0 Karthus, it's going to be a really hard game for you to lose. So he played really well. What was interesting was that Dig actually targeted a few of their bans at Captain Korea too, because he's like really well renowned for his TF play and I think also his Z play, and he still has been performing really, really well on Karthus. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Game 3 ban on Karthus from Dignitas.
And just off the team's mindsets, do you think there's a fear in Dignitas of coming out versus no fear in Team Summon? Is there something there with the mindsets? Yeah,
I mean, right now for Dignitas, it's everything to lose, really. They've worked so hard for so long, and if they don't make it through here, then it's going to be a really rocky road ahead of them. But for Team Summon, I mean, they're like the rookies, they're the underdogs. They're here to play their best, to show their hearts on the league, and to be honest, like, they have no fear. They have nothing to lose. They just want to win. If they outperform Dignitas today, they're going to be in the LCS, and we're going to be seeing a lot of play from them in the next coming weeks. So they're just playing their hearts out, and as you can see in Game 2, they definitely have what it takes to play with the big boys. So.
All right, so Game 2, it looks like they had a single focus, obviously coming in, Gragas, Eve, Diana. Do you think it's just formidable enough to ban out 3 times at Scar again?
I think that Scar's champion pool has been something that has been in question before. I know like when we played against Dignitas sometimes, we would sometimes revolve strategies around sort of forcing Scar onto a certain pick. And obviously he has a really wide champ. He has a lot of champions that he can play, but he has a few that he's a lot more comfortable on, and he defaults to. So Team Summon, obviously, they've done their research. They know what to do. And I think they actually realized that he would pick Ryze. And I think that's a matchup that Captain Korea was really confident because he landed a few solo kills onto Scar, which you don't see very often.
Always feels good.
So it was great.
And you're also one to carry oftentimes from the top lane. Do you have anything to say about what Kiwi Kid has been able to bring to the table, or how he can maybe recapture some of the glory he had early in the season?
I think Kiwi Kid is a really solid top laner. He's played really well in the season. Early on, he definitely, I think, had a more dominant run, sort of like myself. And then as the season waned on, I think some of that pressure has been lessened. But I definitely think that like he still performs well. I don't think you can really look like to say because like they lost that game. Like he was making plays with Shen. He was trying to do what he could. He was out skirmishing Renekton, and he was actually up like 50 or so farms. So he was like playing fairly well. I just think that Dignitas definitely underestimated the Karthus potential. They would get in like a few skirmishes bot and top, and they'd all like run away with like 200 health. And then here comes Captain Korea, and he lands the ult. And I mean,
throwing out the jazz hands.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Kiwi's a great player. I just
got it.
He just has to step it up and help carry his team.
All right, we're 1-1. What's your prediction for Game 3, Voyboy?
Whew. I'll give it to Team Summon. I'll say Game 3 Team Summon. I think that they're motivated. They're out for blood, so let's see what they got.
All right, the momentum in their favor. Voyboy, thank you once again. We'll see you after Game 3, of course. Since it is 1-1, we're getting just about all the games in this series so far, and we'll have to see if these next 2 are going to take us into a Game 5.
And it has been back and forth. Voyboy says we're not going back again, just sticking with the Team Summon coming out. I really want to see, because we've seen so many mid-lane bans so far in champion selection, and first pick has also been mid-lane for Captain Korea in both of these games, picking Karthus both times. Scar in the past was quite a potent Karthus himself, so maybe we'll see a first pick Karthus from Dignitas if I had to guess something crazy.
They could try to get that out of there. Ezreal's been a big focus, but he may be kind of left to the wayside with what's happened here, and they're like, maybe they'll pick Ez, but this other stuff has been way too powerful for us.
It is going to be a very tricky choice for Dignitas, because I believe Dignitas thinks Ezreal is overpowered. I remember an interview from I'm a Cutie Pie. He was talking about how people were just kind of building whatever they wanted on Ezreal and still being successful. And whenever you can build just random items on a champion and still good, he's like, there's probably something wrong with that champion.
Frogging on Anivia.
Exactly, in those cases. But Voidboy was right. Karthus banned.
All right, so we see the Evelynn and the Gragas, maybe a Diana, or maybe the Ezreal coming out here. What has made them scared in these past few games, or what has really caught their eye? Team Summon here to put out the last ban.
If they ban Diana, that's 6 mid lane bans. It really
in a row, yeah.
Really has a showdown between Scar and Captain Korea. Last game we had 5, and Team Summon's definitely wondering whether they want to get rid of that or not. They're letting this tick down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Ezreal does go through this time.
Ezreal.
First game, boom.
Had to happen.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Look at Kiwi. He's like, yeah, we got him. Don't worry about it.
Scar, Cutie Pie accidentally found out about the blue Ezreal when he was just like, I'm building all blue items in a game. And he took it one step farther. He was going like cooldown boots with the distortion enchantment, with the distortion enchantment even just to go all blue. And he was like, this is actually pretty good. And then everyone started playing it in the LCS as well. So it's pretty
So we're going to get blue Ezreals and jungle Ezreals in solo queue. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
I'm down for that, actually.
Right. No, yeah, it works. So we have the globals coming out once again in Shen, but Sona picked up as well. So it's gone back and forth a bit here.
The Sona control is really important in a lot of these series, and especially for Locust, because Locust wants to be as comfortable as possible on his supports. He's played Thresh game 2 days ago. He played... What did he play in the first game of the series? I should definitely be able to remember this, because he didn't have Sona.
Locust?
Sonar.
Did he play Zyra?
Might have.
Might have.
But he's definitely more comfortable on Sona. I think it was Lulu. He's definitely more comfortable on Sona, so it was really good for them to be able to lock that in.
Yeah, I think you did play Lulu, because I was like, he used to love Janna, and it's like a tiny Janna, so why not? Why not? So we got that Zyra being locked in as well. We get a little bit of poke coming out here from Dignitas for this matchup.
The Jace. That's a new one for Dignitas. That's probably Kiwi Kid, but there is definitely mid lane Jace that happens as well. So if Team Summon doesn't have the recent scouting report on Dig, because Dig has been very secretive of what they've been practicing with lately, they don't know exactly where that's coming in, and that will affect Captain Korea's mid lane pick a little bit here, knowing he has to prepare for pretty much anything.
We'll see what they have to do. Captain Korea may be picking for himself here. They may leave it to round it out. These teams have kind of switched up the way they leave that last pick according to the bans.
Yeah, and in this situation, since they don't know where Jace's going, they should pick their jungler here, which with Nasus worked last game, so they should pick Nasus again for the jungle control. And since they went for Shen, they can't get the Bash Brothers again unless they run like Nasus or Renekton mid, which is foolishness. But it's
until they do it, and then it works, and then they use it.
It's no longer foolish at that point.
Absolutely. We'll see what they can put out here for picks. Dignitas looking to lock in. They once again push Scara on to Rise, but I think we may see Cutie Pie Crumbs focusing that mid lane for him more.
Very much so, especially with the Rammus rolling in. I love Rammus.
Awesome.
That's
awesome.
Especially with Jace.
Very cool.
Because you power charge him through the speed gate, and he goes even faster. It's like this unstoppable initiation. As long as Crumbs will get some farm early, because Rammus can be very prone to falling behind, that is a great pick. I know CJ Entis Frost has been doing a lot of that over in the Olympus Champion Series as well, with Cloud Templar doing that. Love seeing Crumbs doing that right here.
Okay.
That happened. Okay.
Okay. So Locust looking to round this out, picking up that mid champion. Who is it going to be for Captain Korea? Will he be able to lock this down? Looking at the Syndra hover.
Bam!
And the Syndra lock-in. It wasn't even like a maybe. It was like a yes. Thank you.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to go Syndra now because you banned out Karthus, so he's going to be playing around with a lot of balls in this game. This is a very exciting lineup from both teams. So the lane power of Syndra with the range against Scara's Rise will make a very difficult lane for Scara, and he's hopefully going to try to use his knockback to stun Crumbs as he comes in with the power ball. But if he doesn't land the stun just right, that knockback's going to be like just a little blip as Rammus flies back and gets in for the taunt once again. I really love the way these teams are going to clash up against each other. I'm more excited for Dignitas' lineup because of the Rammus-Jace combo, but Team Summon is got the Syndra as well.
They got the lockdown. They have the disengage. They have a lot of no, we don't want this. So they can do that, right? But the Rammus, he is just going to say, we're going all in every time. And really, what is that kind of to play with a Rammus? Because it is an all in. It's like, you have to follow me no matter what the initiation is.
Yeah, but at least with Rammus, it's very obvious. Is he spinning up into a giant power ball?
I wonder if he's going in.
I think he's going, guys.
I think he's going.
Zoom.
So what do we know? Is there any inkling that you've had that Rammus has been in the Dignitas lineup lately? Anything you've heard?
No. Not at all, actually. The Jace and the Rammus are both surprises to me as far as Dignitas goes. Maybe there's some like super intense Dignitas writer who like gets perfect access to the scrims who's like, we've been practicing this for 2 weeks, guys, which sure they have been, but it hasn't been widely known public knowledge.
Not at all. So we see the teams facing off right on the screen behind us. Dignitas on our right and left for Summon. So we're going to get these guys onto the Rift. Game 3 is in 1-1 apiece as Summon was able to find a way to stick their foot. Dignitas' front door, bash it down, pretty much ransacked the house last game after they figured out the way in. But on this one, Game 3, Dignitas looking to get their momentum back. We'll see what they can do.
Everybody rolling out the base. Obviously, a lot of Explorer wards early from Dignitas here. We got to remember, last game started off on a really negative foot for Dignitas as they tried that delayed invade that got I'm a Cutie Pie killed and gave the first blood for Captain Korea. They do not want that to happen again, so that's why they may have started with so many wards.
They're not placing yet. We'll see what they do decide to do. Syndra, like you said, having wards on that side, keeping them safe at mid.
Look at that.
They're just going to pile on here. Yeah.
Another pile job. That's a weird word. Another pile on by Team Summon, getting caught up by the root of Patoy as they try to invade in. And this is a very defensive formation by Dignitas.
There's the pink ward. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's just around the elbow. They're not able to see the ward they're walking through. So it's going to be Dignitas just pinging out the bush, and they're going to keep well away from that spot.
They definitely do not want to deal with the 5 people in that brush. That's an interesting thing. There's some weird angles on that make warding very tricky around that banana brush. So you'd think that that ward would see, the pink ward would see the other ward, but it definitely does not, as you said.
So Skara just roaming back. He actually went and placed that one quite scarily, but knowing the team is up there, he was safe. So they're just like, Walton, they got to know that, right? Skara went and warded by himself. Maybe they know exactly where all 5 of us are. Like, that was... could be a tell there.
And Dignitas going to be a little bit careful here. Like, there could, if Team Summon does a delayed blue invade, it's still going to set Crumbs back because there's no way they can stick around as 3 when 5 people are going to be going for an invade as they're running by the ward right now. That Explorer ward just timed out as they ran by the way.
Let's go. It did actually, so they're not even going to really... Oh, they pull it across. CLG game 1 of the LCS spring split, and they're going to do it. Take away the blue.
Full circle. You pick the Syndra, drop a ward over the back, steal the blue buff. Hey, you guys, I remember that play. That happened 2.5 months ago. There's your miles of footage to study that Team Summon just came out with.
Absolutely. So they bring out the Link strat, and they looks like they pull the blue over to the side of Team Summon to start, giving the next one over Sickle Scott. It's going to be really nice.
And this could very well be the 3 jungle buffs versus 1 for Dignitas. And Crumbs won't be the most potent jungler without the blue buff. You can see he's already getting a little bit low on health. He's got to be careful. Wants to hit level 3 so he can get his taunt, his ball curl, and his power ball all going in the same gank. But it'll be very interesting to see whether Crumbs tries to do the super farm strat as he steals a bit of farm in a top lane, or if he tries to do a lot of early ganks on Rammus.
Sickle Scott level 2 already forced to the bottom lane. Deja vu as we start this time at 3 minutes.
I really love it, how they're just trading farm like that. Good taunt.
Great taunt and great grasping route, getting both of them locked up in there for the auto attacks of Cutie Pie, as he's looking to go blue this game, as we said it before. We'll see how he can hold in this bottom lane. The AD carry and the support in the top lane for Team Summon on Varus and Sona.
So the standard LCS lanes with the AD carry and support both going with the double golem lane. A lot of shoving going to be going on, and I think a lot of jungle supporting. We're not seeing the turret dives anymore. We're seeing people try to sustain farm. And Kiwi Kid, again, keeping a lot of distance, making sure he doesn't get harassed down. But because he is Jace, he's getting a lot of these last hits.
Locust putting as much damage on the turret as he can as well. And this is usually about the time you see when Crumbs would be up top to help them. But they're kind of switching it around. Crumbs is in the bottom lane now at 3 minutes instead of that other side of the 2v1.
And this is probably going to cost Dignitas a turret, since Crumbs is off farming double golems instead of leeching experience in the top lane, and since there is a Sickle Scott wave clearing with Spirit Fire over in Dignitas' bottom lane, these turrets are not losing health at an equal rate.
And Crumbs really just heading to the turret, hitting the fence, and heading back out. He's not going to really get much on the bottom lane. He goes for his wraiths. He is a bit ahead in CS. He does pick up the Madrid so he can clear around the jungle. What is he going to build that into for himself? Or is he just actually keep that and move on?
He's keeping it.
Yeah, keep it.
I don't think he's ever going to upgrade that Madrid. What he's probably going to be rushing on that is, again, either Lock It Down, Solarian Aegis, or actually a Warmogs, because Rammus scales better with health than almost anyone else, since his ball curl at max rank gives him 125 armor and magic resistance, which, aside from, I think, Master Yi's Meditate, is the highest armor and MR buff in the entire game. It's really crazy in team fights.
We'll have to see what he can do in mid. We'll see him start charging up on the left side. Captain Korea has used a ward, I believe, earlier or towards the bottom side to keep himself safe, as he thinks that's where Rammus would be finishing after blue to red. He gets himself in range. There it is, leaving the molten hot fire behind him. The taunt and the pushback onto Rammus. So a good counter that Syndra brings to the table there.
That gank was about a millimeter from working because Scar tried to flash in for the Rune Prison, but he didn't make it in range. If he lands that Rune Prison, Captain Korea doesn't have a window to flash and he gets taunted and probably killed. But because he flashed away, since Scar didn't get the Rune Prison, crisis averted. Totally fine.
So we'll see what he can do. He tries to get in there. Level 4 now, so he's got all of his abilities. I think we saw him take in that taunt for something, I think 3, but he really couldn't get anywhere with it. So getting back into the jungle, he says, give me more creeps like it was on Nocturne.
Give me more farm. Rammus needs to get farm. His scaling from a jungle perspective is absolutely crazy. Rammus is definitely an underrated jungle champion from a scaling perspective. This is a very early Dragon by Team Summon, however, because they recognize that they've just swapped down their AD carrying support after killing the turret, and Dignitas wasn't ready for it.
And a huge amount of early dragons have made a resurgence here, starting with Lauda Mortis just a few weeks ago, and now we have 4 or 5 minute dragons coming in.
Oh yeah, that was just a matter of Team Summon outplaying Dignitas from a strategic angle. Dignitas could have known that that was coming. That's a very common thing. AD and support kill a turret, they roam bottom. Grim Samurai makes the delayed time up top since he knew his wave was already going to be shoving out the other way, and they just take out the dragon knowing that they had more people, and also because I'm a Cutie Pie and Pator were caught in a shop cycle.
As we see where they can get from that, getting back into kind of reset, figured out where Dignitas is coming from here, or Team Summon is coming from here. Dignitas, Kiwi Kid in that top lane. No turret, but he is going to be able to farm up quite a bit, and he's 33 to the 18 of Shen, so hopefully they can get that to start utilizing the folk soon.
And this is the price they paid to get that is the turret, and essentially the dragon. So for that 16 minion kill advantage on Kiwi Kid, and for that 13 minion kill advantage on Crumbs, they lost 1,600 global gold. So Crumbs better be able to do something good, otherwise that's definitely not worth it.
Yeah, definitely keeping that lane in the win, but the other ones are even, so they're going to have to really start pressuring advantages in more places than that one in the top lane. Because Jace can carry, but against the way that Team Summon has been playing and their team fight capabilities, it's not going to be enough with one person carrying.
And it'll be really key once we see how Syndra performs in the late game team fights, because that is very, very swingy depending on how great of a Syndra you are. Whether you can land multiple stuns with your orbs when you scatter the weak them back, or if he can get to the right target to essentially assassinate with his ultimate. It'll be very interesting to watch. And
Summon's early game has really just been in the face of Dignitas. I think this is another time they get first turret, first dragon once again for themselves, dictating at least the early part of the game. We see Dignitas about 10 minutes come back, but there it is. The blue buff going over. They can't even really react in time. They're pushed off of everything. The Crumbs trying to ram his ball in here, but he can't get the speed. And the blue steal is successful, so that's just another denial that's really going to slow down Scar's stacking. You can actually tell Scar went for a catalyst instead of a tier early because he's worried about Captain Korea's ability to straight up kill him with Syndra, so that lane strength from Syndra definitely setting Scar back, at least in the short term. Where will they decide to go with this, and will they start to focus mid more? We saw Crumbs try to do it once. You're talking about Scara. They need to get him going. It's been points since last playoffs. It's just Scar and Crumbs need to get in sync, and Crumbs with Rammus, since he's been denied his blue buff and since the dragon's been kind of scattered against him, he's constantly trying to catch up, but he's making sure to keep his farm up. So I think he's actually sacrificing a little bit of mid-camp to make sure he gets to his items. Now with Boots of Mobility, he's going to be able to catch up a little faster because he can move around a bit quicker. A little bit faster, that ball, especially the Jace gate, which we have not seen yet, and is kind of that'll be a late game thing. Yeah, the portion of the composition that they want to come together. So once they can get to that, it's definitely going to help. Right now, really biding their time. They're not trying to just lose too much at this point, though. Yeah, looking at the items that are coming out as well, it's even more of a time-biding thing. A lot of times... So 3 tiers. Yeah, it's a lot of tiers, and those things take time to stack up. So Dignitas definitely trying to survive for a little bit as they actually gank. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, it's going to be the flash. Kiwi Kid, well, they're backing off. They don't want any part of this, actually. They saw the Shen ult coming in. They said, nope, not interested. Now it's just a matter of trying to hold this turret. That was a very quick decision there. Team Summon completely shutting down a strat. It looks like they could press around to this turret.
And there's not enough wave clear from Dig.
Why are they just standing right next to the turret? Scarra gets blinked out of the game, and a turret shock actually gives him a kill back, so that's quite helpful.
Captain Korea unleashed his power on Scar, but then the turret unleashed a bit of pain to Captain Korea as well, and he ended up trading a kill back. But 2 turrets to 0 is the big thing to keep track of now, Riff, because the map is opening up for Team Summon. It's really going to be a very tenuous moment here for Dig with the 3 tiers, really need to stack these things up and consistently losing map presence.
And a pre-10-minute Athene's already coming out on Captain Korea. He built that about 9 minutes, 20 seconds, so he'll have that back as he gets back into lane. A Giant's Belt for Grim Samurai already as he looks to create Sunfire, begin the split push, and it's already happening so quickly for Team Summon in these moves.
And Grim Samurai was actually down a fair bit in minion kills against Kiwi Kid, but because they picked up the 2 turrets and the Dragon, the overall gold is even, and he's trying to turn himself into a tank who can deal with Jace. He does not want to be able to get soloed by Kiwi Kid, and he wants to be able to keep Jace down, essentially.
Now, we do say that, you know, building that tier, if nothing good happens in the next few minutes and you get power, it's a little bit of a plateau. That could hurt if you have 3 people sinking money into that at the same time.
That is the danger Dignitas is under right now. They really need to make sure that they stall out and make it past this weak point. I think once 23 or so minutes turn around, if Dignitas is still close, they're going to start winning. But if Team Summon can actually make it back before they get the Muramanas or the Seraph's Embrace completed, it's going to be advantage for Team Summon.
And you can, it is slow, right? Nothing's coming out that says fight. It's Crumbs initiating his build into how can I get back to fights faster? How can we start initiating, like you said, at that 20 minutes? He picks up the home guards already on his mobility boots.
It's actually kind of strange. The way Crumbs is building is counterintuitive to the way the rest of Dignitas is building. Either Crumbs is just making sure he's always there to support and make sure things don't go terribly for Team Summon, which would make the most sense.
Right.
But as far as actually being a tank, if Team Summon tries to do anything aggressive, he's not there yet because he's built everything into mobility and clear speed right now.
So they're looking to be able to stop pressure from Team Summon here. It's something that Kiwi Kid, that Void Boy said they needed to do, was able to stop the pressure of Summon no matter what Dignitas was able to fight with.
And there's a couple seconds left on this Dragon. I wonder if Dignitas is forcing this one. Scar tried to get Captain Korea a little bit low, and he got a little bit low himself. There is no ultimate up on Shen yet, so if Dignitas can get this fast as Crumbs pops Tremors, they might get this danger.
A flash over the wall from Jace onto Captain Korea. They take him down. It's going to be his 2nd death of the game, and it looks like they will be forced off of Dragon, but it's going to be a dance here.
And Shen is running down as quickly as possible. Scar is extremely low, so even though they got the kill, the fight itself would be a 4v4. I think we're going to see a Dragon a little bit later, unless
I don't know.
Team Summon just goes straight for it. You're right, Riv.
They're clearing this. Ezreal's staying. I'm a Cutie Pie has that item now, the Elder Lizard, so he's doing a good amount of damage. And I don't think they just clear wards, and you were right, Jap. They back up.
Scar is rushing back as well because he teleported in knowing that this thing could still be contested very quickly. They burned the Tremors on Crumbs a little while ago, but they're going to be going back again because they have everybody seemingly in position.
And this is where we're going to see Crumbs not having the tanky build if it comes into play. They may get the Dragon here, but they may go down quickly. None of them really have any tank. The Shen ultimate is now up. The Chain of Corruption down into Scarra. Can they get into the fight? Grim Samurai going in hard, and the HP bars are melting for both sides, really. The focus down onto Shen. Scarra picks himself up a kill here, and they're going to have to back out of this fight. Sickle Scott with the Wither onto Patoy. He flashes over the wall, grasping roots for the safety.
Beauty play by Dignitas there. They really manned up to get that Dragon quickly and then got out of there. Scarra picking up 3 kills as well is amazing for him because he's in a really disastrous lane matchup against a Syndra. Captain Korea can bully Scarra in all scenarios, but in the team fights and in the skirmishes, it's looking pretty good for Dig.
And Scarra is actually trying to go, like you said, for the face tank build once he gets it. He wants that Negatron cloak right now so he can stand in the face of Captain Korea and just machine gun.
And that's what he's going to be going for. Like, if he can get to a point where Captain Korea can't just kill him with a couple orbs and unleash power, the damage over time by Scar will actually turn him into a better duelist. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if Scar went for a Banshee's Veil a little bit sooner than you normally see on a Rise instead of a Rod of Ages. We'll see how he ends up going for it, but that would definitely make his laning easier.
This early in the game, it would also hugely change the focus of a fight because you're relying on abilities that aren't yet level 5, so it's not as much power as you're going to get, and you have to choose where to put that now.
It would be very key to decide when you want to get the Banshee's Veil down, but it really just gives Scar more freedom.
Yep.
Since he's gotten the 3 kills, people are going to be wanting to kill him anyway, so it's his choice decide about whether he goes super offensive or super defensive with his build choices here.
He is the shutdown, as you say, that they are going to be looking for. So Scarra making his way back to mid. Good coverage down towards the Dragon, as that was something Dignitas just pretty much went back and forth with Team Summon on as they finally went down to grab it. 3-2 here, 19,000. Actually, it's almost 20,000 to 20,000. It's about a grand in the lead of Team Summon. Very close still in the matchup. The AD carries have the core item out already at 14 minutes into the game. And we got to remember that that Elder Lizard was finished quite a bit ago on Cutie Pie. So he has finished the blue boots on top of that.
Let's examine Dignitas's tiers right now because they got 336 on Kiwi Kids, only 168 on Scar. Remember, Scar went Catalyst first, and 350 on I'm a Cutie Pie. So they're getting there, but they're still not there yet.
Pushing down on mid. You still got top lane. Whoa! Coming in so fast. IndyCar crumbs on Rammus here. We see the top push from Grim Samurai. The Sunfire Cape is there. Team Summon is starting to use the split push to effect here at 15 minutes. They have the Stand United to come up in a little bit, and that's probably why they were a little bit less aggressive on that turret.
It's true. They are actually a little bit scared of what Dignitas's fight potential is capable of, which might end up biting Team Summon if this game continues. Obviously, I'm a Cutie Pie has threat because he has a red buff, but if it's actually an all-in trade, Otter would destroy him.
So we got the Spirit of the Elder Lizard coming out on Jace too, and they go in for the fight onto Grim Samurai. That's going to chunk him down. They take him down, and the Stand United wouldn't be helped.
Speedy Crumbs flying in there with the taunt. He's getting going. 79 minion kills on Aramis. Actually outpacing Anasis' farm is very impressive, and it shows that the early game sacrifices he made and the boots of mobility to really get there quickly have allowed him to keep pace and farm despite the slightly negative start for Dignitas. And now that he's gotten a Giant's Belt, once he pops that defensive ball curl, which he's put 2 points in, is actually going to be quite good for him.
And it's definitely shown a change in the way that Dignitas has been playing. Obviously, Crumb's picking out the aggressive junglers still, but he's a little bit less of a factor in the early game and then finds the punch in that mid game. So just like Scar has said, these guys definitely have some new strats to revolve around. And
the Rammus is something that Crumbs is probably having a lot of fun on. You get to fly all around the map, and it's 3 turrets to 0, but only 1,000 gold difference. So these are the types of games that if Dignitas can hold off for, I still want to say, about another 8 minutes, then they're going to start turning around the fights.
Crumbs back to the camps. He's getting all the farm that he can. He picks up the Giant's Belt, so he finally gets the tank that we were looking for that he needs right away. Just needs a little bit of armor now. He gets that, like you said, from the ball curl. So coming into this, he's slowly getting to the position he needs to be that huge tank for his team, and that really allows everybody to build pure damage right away.
And it's almost a bruisery team that Dignitas will be able to throw in. If Rammus goes in with Rise, those two will just be able to wreak havoc kind of on their own. And Jace always supplies a bunch of damage. It is a little strange that we got the Spirit of the Elder Lizard on Kiwi Kid as well. That is not a Jace item, you see that frequently. But we have seen a growing trend of people building those jungle trending items in the lanes because they're so stat efficient.
How do you shut down a team? You shut down their tank so he cannot be one of the fights. Run right to the acceleration gate. There he goes. Crumbs is off and running. Blasts the wave. Oh, man. Put this guy in the Olympics. Grim Samurai gets some damage done. He's got a ward there, but it's just watching him. How painful. Goes down again, and he just got back to lane.
That looks so fun. I want to go play Rammus Jace right now. Like
tell that to Grim Samurai.
They came from a mile away and just zoomed through. The flash over the creep wave really sealed the deal for him, and since he's maxed taunt first, it gave Kiwi Kid all the time in the world to catch up to Grim Samurai and for Dignitas to control the kill.
We have been waiting for that all game. So good. They're going to go ahead, not really put too much damage on the turret. More to Sicko Scott here. You can see that burn from the Elder Lizard, just taking some HP away as Captain Korea pushes mid by himself. A little odd, but nobody's really giving him any trouble.
Yeah, he's trying to create a bit of pressure because Scar has been hiding from him for the past 18 minutes of the game. He's like, pay attention to me. I'm Cinder right now. I'm strong at this portion of the game, and it's just not working out for him.
Cutie Pie and Otter back and forth. And, nope, Crumbs. Every time you spin, man, it's going to be crazy. But yeah, we saw Cutie Pie taking a good chunk up on Otter in that bottom lane. He has the Sheen damage to come out, so that 1v1 burst definitely in favor of Cutie Pie, and he can position way better. But the Dragon positioning is now coming up, so they're going to see and test each other out here in the waters.
Might see another Dragon fight, and we know Team Summon gained a lot from Dragons. In Game 1, Dignitas got him for free. Game 2, Team Summon got him for free. Game 3, they're fighting over him.
Oh, he didn't have the gate. It was behind him. He tries to go through it in the end. He's right. He is having fun. He is going all over the place right now. Pink ward goes out. They're not going to see that one just above them. So Patoya's in vision. Might just creep out of that. They take down Dragon. They get a good grasping here. The Crescendo goes across, but Kiwi Kid had already flashed. Will they go back in? Crumbs turns down Tremors. He bumps into Locust and one. Crumbs takes down, but he runs out with Ball Curl on. Bam! Hammer to the back of the head, going on to Locust. They start to shut them down. It is going to be Kiwi Kid falling, but Scara answers back onto Syndra, and that is going to be 3 for 1 along with the Dragon.
Team Summon was a little bit out of sync as Dignitas forced them into a very difficult choice. Dignitas started the Dragon well before Team Summon was ready, and Team Summon wanted to initiate right away. That's why Sicko Scott popped his ultimate as Shen was ulting in on him, but it was a little slow. They actually burned their initiation. The VAR Assault, the Flash Crescendo, wasn't immediately followed up, and that gave Dignitas time to mount their counterattack. Crumbs came in late, finished off Otter, and not only did Dignitas get the Dragon, they got the kills in the team fight and a gold.
It's so great to see these compositions coming out and utilized perfectly. Every time they put the gate down with Crumbs, he's been able to execute that kill. They've been able to get the advantage. Huge here, as it looked like Team Summon had it again. Like I said, they got first turret, they got first Dragon, but Dignitas is executing what they brought to the table perfectly.
And it's still 3 turrets to 0. Dignitas is doing this without map control. They're warding quite well, and I think I gotta hand a lot of this to Crumbs just being in enough places because of his home guard boots and mobility rush, which we actually weren't sure why he was doing it. Look how fast Crumbs just got back to that spot. That was like one power ball, and he's already halfway through the map. So he's being a moving, almost turret armadillo and giving safety to his laners to be able to make things happen.
One after the other. I wonder what kind of cooldown he runs on his Rammus jungle. Going for Grim Samurai once again, gets the bump. Oh, this is going to be a Rune Prison as well. They're going to be able to lock up some good damage here, at least pushing him out of the lane, and that's going to put focus to the top here for Summon.
Looks like Dignitas is finally going to be able to get their first turret if they stick around now. Summon trying to make a counterattack in the mid lane.
So this is perfect. Summon is always answering. They're always trying to push Dignitas into something else and dictate the game. Dignitas is going to have to answer this dance.
Yeah, so they end up trading a middle laner turret. Zoom! Crumbs comes flying in. I think that's actually a decent trade for Dig if Kiwi Kid can make something happen.
Oh, just into the melee form. Wasn't able to get that to the skies down and the extra damage. We'll see what the builds are coming out as things slow down a little bit here at 21 minutes. 2,000 gold in favor of Dignitas, but they are down in turrets, which is crazy because that's all the global gold. They're winning in those kills. It's all about the fights for these guys. Bloodsport coming into game 3 for Dignitas, and the items still not cored out here for Scara. He's doing it again, the recipe all the way down.
He likes doing that on Rise, and it's not necessarily a bad plan because he really cares about the mana. So the Tier and the Catalyst give him a whole bunch of mana before they get upgraded, and he's really just kind of deciding what he eventually wants to go for. The Tier of the Goddess items are getting very, very close, and Dignitas actually already seems like they're sieging a bit of control. Crumbs goes!
Oh, he flashes over from Wraith. Locust, what's going on? He doesn't know. Going down, game over for him.
God, I love it. He flashed over the wall. Jumanji, as Kobe would say when he used to do that on Rammus. That was an awesome gank through the jungle. Surprise, Locust. Now they get to push down mid.
This is ridiculous. They have nothing to answer. They never see him coming. Team Summon needs to get more wards on the map because he actually went through a ward there as Rammus and they weren't even able to answer. Now it's in their face and they can't do anything about it. Dignitas is so on point here, 22 minutes in.
10 kills to 3 and they just keep going, finally getting some turrets.
Cutie Pie going Wage Out style into the fight with Arcane Shift, and it looks like they are going to have to back out of this.
Well, not after they gained some big-time advantages. It seemed for Team Summon like they had some control, but they have not been able to take on Dignitas in that window of attack they have, and it does seem like Dignitas is coming back real strong.
Captain Korea farming up what they can on their side, if it even is their jungle right now. Dignitas has been over there quite a bit. It was 1 turret and then 2-3. It's like they were like, okay, we're ready to start taking the turrets now.
It's just they powered up because they had to hide. They had to hide for the first 15 minutes of this game, aside from the really bold dragon play that they were able to pull off to keep themselves in the game, and then a few really timely ganks by Crumbs kept Team Summon scared enough that they weren't aggressing Dignitas while they were weak, but now Dignitas is strong.
So Summon putting those Baron wards out. Dignitas very strong, as you say. The Elder Lizard being brought out with the Last Whisper for Jace. It's Kiwi Kid in that top lane still stacking his tier. The Sunfire Cave now onto Rammus, as he is just going to be a threat as he puts himself in the middle of the fight. Every time, teleport coming for Scara. Oh, Grim Samurai, he's like, I'm not here. I'm not really here. He just gets taunted out of it. He sees Scara on the other side. He may taunt through to the back. He gets to Skara. He may not get the run here. Locust gives him the speed to run. The crescendo goes out, and it hits. But the gate making the team so mobile. Dignitas now all here for the fight. Locust goes down. The double kill for Skara. Got a triple kill earlier. He's picking them up in abundance.
Oh!
Another triple kill for Skara. Copious amounts of cash flow going for him.
The home run shot from Kiwi Kid, knocking Captain Korea back from the flash at the end of that fight, and everything tipping in the way of Dignitas after that brilliant gank by Crumbs.
Let's see what they can get on here. Damage on the mid turret. Crumbs is going to be there to help. Doesn't have tremors, but it is going to hurt structures if he decides to use it. But that's going to be the all-end push if they decide to do that. Dignitas, however, dictating this game a lot stronger than Game 2, so they're able to stop the momentum of Team Summon for now.
Totally stopped. It's been ripped apart, ripped around. Truck hitting a wall, and then another truck that's driving in the other direction. Because Dignitas has everything going for him. The turrets are even and about to be a lead for them.
So as Kiwi Kid pressuring the top turret, 25 minutes in, Dignitas goes from being all turrets down to evening out the turrets. And one more here. No, you just kind of want to play around there. Beats him back, actually, so he never took damage from the turret. And it looks like they are going to be able to duel this one out. Who is going to be there to help? Oh, he walks through it, so he actually took the shock blast, full damage to the gate. Unfortunate for Grim Samurai. Good 1v1 for Kiwi.
Well, while Kiwi Kid runs around, it's going to be about Dignitas trying to make stuff happen. He wasn't running for long, but let's see if Dig gets a counter.
They could. They're not going to push too much. They kind of stop in mid. They know the flow is coming down from Team Summon as they congregate now towards the mid lane. So Dig says, we did good. We lost Kiwi. Let's kind of slow things down.
And they're going to just slowly go and take this free-ish, 3-ish 4-4 dragon.
Yep.
That's the third dragon they've gotten this game. 10 kills up. The gold seems to be getting a little bit out of control. And this is the scattered play that they forced Team Summon into in the first game. They're just kind of coming back with it again. The tier is actually fully stacked up for Kiwi Kid. If he wants to get that Mirror Mana, he's going to need a little bit more gold. Now he's going to be able to buy it whenever he wants. He might actually be going for a Black Cleaver first. But the Mirror Mana on I'm a Cutie Pie is also making a really big difference.
Scar now backing. You can see all the gold in the hands. 9,800. No, it's 10K. Is that Jace? Jace on 10. Scar going back. Gets that Frozen Heart built up. So the core items now coming together for him. Rotted Phages into that Frozen Heart. Like you said, Mirror Mana's all fixed up on that side of Dignitas.
They have freedom right now with where they want to go. As long as Crump doesn't get spiked out by Captain Korea. Luckily, the Scout of the Week misses and he's able to back away. But with the two transforms on the Mirror Manas, this is actually like the strongest point in the game for Jace and Ezreal both. So if Dignitas wants to either just push towers and straight up dive, because Crumbs would be able to tank turrets up fairly well, or if they want to try to force a Baron and then peel the fight, because their initiation potential with the gate plus Rammus is so high, I think both of those things would work for them.
And this is really cool to see from Dignitas, right? Because, yeah, they'll engage, but never like this. It's always an objective for them. It's always finding somebody out. This is Crumbs going all in. Dignitas is just starting these fights out of the blue, right? Like right this, going in.
Man.
Scar's going to go to the turret. Bam, that last Q. Didn't even need the True Shot Barrage. It just looked good.
So much pain. Gets the slow so Scar can catch up. Crumbs hops in and then flash taunt.
Absolutely dictating this fight. The Tremor are down. They blast off the shield, so Shen only comes in for the taunt here, and it's going to be some big damage. Tremor still going off, about to end, and the AoE is just crushing down Team Summon here. Kiwi Kid is going to fall, but they still have enough power in that lane.
Totally okay. They got a couple kills. They got the turret, and Kiwi Kid went down, but that will probably not stop the Dignitas assault.
No way. They had that. Scar, he flashes in on Korea, drops him instantly. It's actually a shutdown going to I'm a Cutie Pie. They gave him Ezreal. There was a way that Dignitas played this champion select into their favor, and it's working beautifully. 6
mid lane bans, and the one that matters was the Ezreal pick, because that was a huge power play for Dignitas, but really, Rammus at the end of it really surprised them. The secret strategies necessarily for Dignitas really paying off.
It looks like with that Rammus pick, like you said, Skara being able to go 8-1-3, the mobility they have around the map with Rammus plus the Jace Gate alone has created so many opportunities.
And Scar always says, even though he's the North American LCS All-Star for mid lane, that his success is always attributed to his team. Because when you watch the games that Scar does well, and it's also because the rest of his team is applying ridiculous amounts of pressure for him. Because Scar didn't exactly win the lane against Captain Korea. He survived. He farmed up. And he just farmed up, and then Kiwi Kid and Crumbs made a bunch of plays, and I'm a Cutie Pie stayed safe and farmed up against Otter. And then Scar made the big plays in team fights because their teamwork is really good. But 194 minion kills on Rise. The 8-1-3 is more of a result of his team playing so well around him.
What can Team Summon do? They pull themselves back out of their base here. Definitely pick themselves up off the ground a little bit. The momentum, 11,000 gold in the favor. Crumbs in the favor. He ties up his lasers. Goes for Captain Korea. Gets knocked back. He is just going to sit there right now. He doesn't even have to taunt. He can walk through everyone. No, you're not going to get crescendo this fight. And we're going to try to make it game over. That's going to be Locust going down. It is already Otter that went down as well. Crumbs finally falls, but it's with 2 people down. He has done his job valiantly and has given Dignitas the opening to possibly clear out the game with 40-second death timers.
One more Q. No, he doesn't get the bullseye, but this looks like the end for Team Summon. The surrender comes out, 2-1 Dignitas.
An absolutely amazing picks and bans. Formulated that game from the start. However, Team Summon picking up first dragon, first turret, but it didn't deter Dignitas. No. They knew when their time was going to come in the game. It was at about 15 minutes.
They really, really pulled that one off well. Dignitas with the overall strategy. That's a little demoralizing for Team Summon because they would have felt like they had a good start and then let it slip away. But it was really just all planned for Dignitas, and they got away with it.
And this has to be the scariest thing to go against. It's not that one person, or it's not that it has been one guy that's super impactful. The super impactful has been spread across now a few members of Dignitas. So do they ban Rammus and leave stuff open for Skara? Yeah. Or do they still go with the same thing? Because Rammus is going to work with any lane. He brings the crowd control. So this is going to be a scary picks and ban phase coming in for Team Summon.
Yeah, you're not going to be banning Rammus. And we actually have a replay of this 3-for-1 dragon fight, one of the big turning points in this game that was just a well-fought fight for Dignitas. This is when they got the second dragon. It's the late initiation by Team Summon. Look at the crescendo Chain of Corruption combo that didn't actually get followed up by Dignitas. And then Dignitas just gets to run them down after that one. Really a turning point in the game here. Captain Korea got 1-for-1, but that was actually not the best thing because Cinder needed to be doing more at that point in the game. Great stuff from Dig.
It really was. They came out strong. A lot of people, and we even saw on Twitter, Reddit, right before the match started, why are you picking Rise again? It really hurt you guys last time. Not so much. That's just the way the cookie crumbled that time. And this time is the win for Dig. So they're 2-1. Coming up, it's Game 4 between Summon and Dignitas with one more win. Skara and crew will regain their spot as one of the North America's Elite 8. Stick around.